What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. We are going live from home, not from Villa Park. I was going to do something big, but I was literally like, I'm too tired to think about this. Henry's teething.
Live from home.
Yes, so we are going to be talking about the transfer news. There's not a lot. So the main thing I think we're going to talk about there is John McGinn and Everton. We have then got a really exciting thing to talk about, which will hopefully be happening on Thursday. Please stay tuned to this video and let us know in the comments the things that we ask you about for that. Yeah. But first off, Gaz, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm buzzing. I can't wait for this announcement in a few minutes. I'm very excited. And if anyone is on here that was on TikTok earlier, then they'll know what it is anyway. But I'm super excited, mate. I in my wildest dreams, I never thought that this could possibly happen. So I'm just trying to contain it. Like, just be cool, man. Be cool,
Yeah.
Gaz.
When we thought this was maybe going to happen, we were like, nah. And we're still kind of sitting there going, will it even happen? But we're hoping they will happen. So do stay tuned in the next couple of minutes because we will let you know what's happening there. Just got to quickly plug the ball and the competition that we're currently running. Thank you again for everyone who's donated. We've had another £5 from Callum. I think it was Callum?
Yeah.
A guy called Callum off TikTok. Another £5. Thank you so much for your entry. Obviously, we've got the football. We've got the signed memorabilia from Brian Little and Peter Withe, and they are limited edition. Other than that one, I think that one's another one.
These two are that one
of 200, right? Yeah, they're off 200.
One, 21 of 200 on that one, signed by Brian Little, and 100.
And we've got
135 or 200 with that Peter Withe one, which is my favourite. And then we've also got
kids' books.
Yes, Brian Little's biscuit books, which are a collection of 3 books. They come in a lovely sleeve, and these will be signed. I've been told yesterday that they definitely will be signed. So, and we'll get those other prints framed.
It won't be Mr. Good Evening himself, Josh. I mean, I'm not going to lie. To be fair, I don't think that would be as big for Villa fans.
Yes.
Would you class that? I mean, us as a channel would be like, wow, getting the current Aston Villa manager would be incredible. But actually, I think as a Villa fan,
this is bigger. I agree. I think unless the only way it would be bigger is if Unai had won the Champions League last year and he decided to come on to us, then that it would have been probably the big. And Callum's here from TikTok. Yes, Callum, we got your money. Thank you so much for your donation.
Prince William. That'd be pretty big as well. I'm not gonna lie. If we had royalty coming in,
oh god, that would be massive, wouldn't it? Well, he could be next. Prince Willie, is that you in disguise? Kevin, is that you in disguise?
We know he's watching you are these Prince things. William, aren't you? You are Prince William.
If you want to come on the show, you're very welcome.
No, so essentially, what's happening is on Thursday. We're not going to be going live, but what we're going to ask you for on this podcast today, you can do it in the live chat or you can do it in the comments if you're watching this on catch up. We'll be asking you for your questions for the one and only Peter Withe.
Peter Withe, the man, the width, the legend. Oh my god, mate, Peter Withe, like just
can't live with or without him. That's why I wanted to call the episode. Peter Withe is coming on the podcast on. Sorry, Josh has just put Peter Bumberclot Withe.
I don't think he's that's gonna. Yeah, I don't think he can understand that.
No, I don't think he'll quite get that at his age of like, what is he, 73?
73, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 73. Peter Withe will be coming on the podcast on Thursday. About 12 p.m. I think we're going to be speaking to him. So please, what we're looking for is any questions that you guys want us to ask him. This podcast is not a pro-journalistic podcast. So, the kind of things we're open to ask him are probably a lot more open than most podcasts or most people who speak to him.
Well, as long as they keep it clean, mate, I'm happy to ask questions. And like, we won't guarantee we'll ask you a question, but if we like it, we'll skip through them and we'll ask the question. How this has come about is that I was doing a TikTok live, And it's quite a funny story because someone popped up in the comments as they do on TikTok Live and went, "Oh, my dad used to play for the Villa," and I went,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll bite. Who is it?" You know, oh, it's Peter Withe, and I literally went, "Oh, fuck off."
Shut up, mate.
And he went, "No, seriously." And then obviously we were promoting the ball. I think it was probably the first or second time we promoted the ball. And he went, "No, I can get you some signed stuff like to go onto your." And I was like, "Well, okay, if that's serious, drop me a DM, and we'll go on from there." So it turns out it was legit. So I met Peter Withe's son in an undisclosed location in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. We got the merch, which is what we've kind of been showing. And now this looks like it's happening. And if this goes well, we could potentially be doing something with them again on the 30th of August for the Crystal Palace game at home. So super excited that. So who knows? This could be the start of a beautiful relationship.
I'll tell you what, it's an interesting question there from Kevin Jeans. Ask him who's the biggest club, Forest, Blues, or Villa.
Yeah.
And also, I've already had the father-in-law who is a massive Forest fan. And he's sent through a couple of questions which are a little bit more Forest related, but I'm willing. I said to him, you know what, I'm happy to ask that.
Yeah.
And one of them was 1977 Forest or the 82 Villa, which are the better teams. That'd be really interesting to see how his response is. Might be a bit biased.
Well, he won it with Villa, so it's kind of
Yeah, exactly. I think he was. I mean, he was meant to be. Obviously, he transferred. He was meant to be in the. I think he didn't play in the European team for Forest, and obviously then he moved over to Villa. So he.
Well, it was my understanding that we bought him in 1980 because, and we can fact check this with him on the show, I suppose. But because we had to sell Andy Gray, didn't we?
Yeah.
And he ended up kind of coming along and basically being part of that league winning title side in 80-81. So it's yeah. I can't. I am like, it feels surreal. Like I do. Like if my history is like the reason why I'm a Villa fan is because of Peter Withe. Do you know what I mean? Like from 0 to 7, I was a Liverpool fan because I was obsessed with John Barnes being left-footed, and when he scored that wonder goal against Brazil for England, where he ran round everyone. And then my mum got remarried to a massive Villa fan who basically sat me down and made me watch this European final kind of multiple times. Like, you know, Nigel Spink talking about the saviour of, like, you know, coming on for Jimmy Rimmer. And I must have watched that goal about 1 million times, literally, on an old recorded off the TV VHS copy of it. And I wish I was still in contact with my stepdad, but my mum even got divorced, so I bet he still got that, like the original recording off the telly. You know, it'd be incredible. Oh, James, can't hear you.
My bad. I was on mute.
There you go.
It's because I coughed earlier, so I muted myself. I was going to say, I'd love to see like the halftime punditry.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it'll be really politically correct as well.
Everyone looks like they're wearing like little wigs.
Yeah.
I always find anything from those eras. I'm like, are you wearing a toupee? Like, is that your actual hair? Like, what's going on there?
Magnificent. So yeah, I just this is a big thing for me because, like I say, without watching that goal, I probably would have never truly become a Villa fan. Do you know what I mean? That kind of swayed me towards him. I remember watching that, and then went to go and see Villa Liverpool at Villa Park, dressed in my whole crane paint kit, stood in the whole end. As a 7-year-old kid, I got away with it, obviously, but and then met the players afterwards. Got given a keyring by Paul Birch and the rest. Here we are, nearly 40 years later, doing a podcast in the dream that I'm going to be able to speak to the guy who scored the winning goal in the European Cup final. Like, it's
unbelievable.
Oh, mate, I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. You know, so.
Yeah. So, like we said,
international, mate, because I think those of you that probably know, true fans will know that Peter Withe lives in Australia. So we're going live via satellite on Thursday.
Yeah, there'll be. I wonder if there'll be like a delayed feed. You know, like it's like Pete. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay, right. Okay. Build up the suspense. It'd be so funny.
Mate, I hope it's like that. Going back in the days, that'd be amazing. So please, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell button and get the notification from when the episode goes live on Thursday evening,
Thursday afternoon-ish.
Yeah. Because you're not going to want to miss it. I promise it's going to be fun. And Pete's got a few things that he wants to talk about, which we won't go into right now, but I think he wants to announce something. So that's really exciting. We kind of know what it is, but I'm excited to talk to him about things he's got going on. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Get the little dingy ding going. Anyway, so I mean that is very exciting, but we do need to move on. But obviously, like we said, put all your questions that you want us to ask him into the comments and pop it into the live chat if you're here. Otherwise, pop it into the comments if you are watching this after the fact. We're recording this, I think it's like 3:30 on Tuesday the 8th. So, yeah, if you can get your questions in, we will definitely take the ones that we like and we will ask him.
Yes.
So, what's happening, Gary, in the news? I think the only real one that I wanted to talk about is John McGinn.
Yeah.
Now,
yesterday, mate.
I mean, we spoke quite a lot about bits about John McGinn in the past. I think he's a little bit of he splits some fans, not in terms of how he's on the pitch, but whether he's someone we would be okay with letting go. Is he good enough for the starting 11? Is he good enough for our team? Now, I've always said, and I still believe this, he's the only one, I believe, in our squad who will grab us from the scruff of the neck and just get us going. Yeah. He's just all heart. The guy is all heart. He's just like, and
he proved that in the second. He proved that in the second leg against PSG, didn't he? Like he absolutely galvanised. Went and lucky, bit of luck with the deflection for the goal, but that gives you the belief we came so close to kind of achieving greatness. And I think for me, you don't get rid of players like Martinez and McGinn because of their personality within that squad and what the capability have got to galvanise the rest of the team. And McGinn, for me, epitomises everything there is about Villa, really. Like the fight, the desire. You can have all the skill in the world, but you need a player like McGinn in your squad. And the fact that he's been so versatile last season, in playing in a multitude of positions, didn't moan about being taken off, didn't moan about not starting, just gets on and gives his professional job. The fact that he's arguably one of the nicest guys in football as well, he's not for sale, mate. Like that would be my kind of.
To be fair, I think Villa have said, we have no intention of selling him. Like, we don't want to sell him. I can't remember the exact words. I feel like I read it and I was like, that's not them saying like hands off, but they're saying they have no intention of selling him, which means like they don't want to. But I'm guessing if the right offer comes in, I think all the players have got a price tag.
Unless he himself is not happy and says, I want to go, that's the only way he leaves for me. That is that he wants to go.
I think the only way he leaves is if like I said, Celtic or someone comes in. Like that's the only way. Yeah, I can only see him go back. I think that's, for me, that makes most sense for him. Like, he's got 2 years left on his current contract at Villa as well. There will probably be suitors that will come in next year.
Having met McGinn a couple of times, right? I mean, I don't know him obviously, but I get the impression that both him and Emery really want to win something with the Villa. Like, and no news is good news in terms of transfers. Now, this for me is just another whisper in the wind because that there's no real substance to it. I know it's been reported on Sky, and they may have inquired about him. Fine, right? But I think until a firm bid's made, I'm going. No, he's not going to want to leave. Same as Martinez, right? That actually the pair of them, with the journey they've been on, it's been 5 years for Martinez, a bit longer for McGinn. That to top off, like, even if it's one more season for both of them, do you know what I mean? To try and win that Europa League, win the FA Cup, or win something with the Villa to go, yeah, that's my legacy. And if we did that this year, they could both leave next season, and they leave with legendary status. Do you know what I mean? That would be my ultimate goal for the pair of them. So fingers crossed that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, the Emmy stuff's kind of gone quiet, right? There hasn't been very much news at all there.
Because it looks like Onana's not going anywhere. He's under contract. It's going to cost him a fortune to get rid of him.
And that's what we've said with a lot of these moves, is that a lot of this stuff only happens if, one, an offer comes in. Yeah. And it sounds like the other thing that needs to happen is that those clubs, to be able to make an offer for that kind of player, they need to offload their current player. And so it sounds like Onana's not going anywhere. They're happy with him. Either that, or they just can't find a suitor, and they're just like, we'll carry on as is. But yeah, the John McGinn thing. Also, like Everton, obviously David Moyes, they are turning a corner. It's a new chapter there. I just don't see McGinn doing that. I think he's so happy at Villa. I think he's so well settled at Villa. He's currently still the captain. We don't know if he'll maintain that, because one thing I will say is that he's probably not the starting 11. But I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't think Villa have a starting 11. We don't have a first 11.
Yeah.
We just have an 11 that start the game and 11 that finish the game. And I think they are different matches. And John McGinn, mate, he's just fantastic, isn't he? Like, I think if he does go, you don't want it to be on sour terms. You want it to be
no, not at all.
Right send off. You also want him to. You also want to play one last game. Like, we didn't have it with Dougie, did we?
Yeah. So if he was going to go, you want that farewell, don't you? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you almost want it to happen. Like, it was going to happen. You either want it to know it's going to happen at the end of the season, or you want it to happen like Jan, so that it happens during the season, so you can give him a send off. But yeah, I'm hoping that it's not the case. I get why Everton want him, and obviously there's the whole kind of Scottish David Moyes factor as well in there.
Yeah,
he's a very Everton type player. He's very Moyes player, like engine, heart, just pure passion.
There's no doubt for me, if he was to go to Everton, like, he'd be one of their main men. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I just think he's got more to offer for us, and I just don't think you get rid of your club captain. I think that sends a very negative sign for us when we're trying to, grow and develop and hopefully improve this season. I think you need McGinn in and around that squad to, like, if we do sign anybody new, the person that you want championing the squad and getting them on board with what philosophy of play with Emery is McGinn. McGinn's been honest with himself with Emery, like, how harsh that Emery could be, and the conversations they've had. Like, but he knows that that's all about getting the best out of players and about developing as individuals. And McGinn has been one of those. You can't look at McGinn and go, he's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's.
He's also, like I've said, the thing is a lot of the time we look at players and we look at like their technical ability, their flair, their pace. There's that kind of thing. McGinn isn't really. I mean, actually, his technical ability is actually pretty amazing. Like, his actually passing range and stuff's incredible, and he's also the power of that ass. Like, honestly, it is literally
for
like
anyone just tuning in at that moment. The power of that ass.
We are talking about John McGinn's ass. He's like a 12th man. He's like a 12th man. He's unbelievable. Like, it literally.
Mate,
I don't understand how players
crack walnuts. We just can't get rid of them bad
players
boys.
They can't get past him. They can't get round him to get the ball. Who is he who said? I can't remember who it was. There was someone that and they asked him who was like the hardest player you've ever played against or something like this. It was a midfielder. I can't remember who it was. And you're expecting him to say, like, I don't know, various different players. And he said John McGinn. And he was literally like, you can't get the ball. You can't get the ball off him. He's just non-stop. He's always there. He's in your face. He's like just constantly all around you. And you can't stop him. And I think it's just amazing to see sometimes when McGinn wants to get going, when he just plants a tackle, or he just and he runs with his little chicken wings and he runs like this down the pitch. The entire stadium just lifts and everyone's like, "Come on, John!" Yes, it's just love it. And I feel like if you lost that, there's no one in the team that gives you that. Emmy's the only one. Emmy's the only one who does it with his his little shit and his little dances and stuff. He's the only one who really gets us going.
I think the spine of that, like, even as a squad player, like, he's just going to be so integral to this season for me. Do you know what I mean? And so I hope that comes to nothing. I've said it before. The spine of that team, like, you got to try and keep. I know there could be offers coming in for Martinez and whatnot, but no news is good news. I think you have to keep him, particularly for this year, while you go and source a proper replacement. Because even that guy from Lille, Chevalier, whatever his name is, I'm not 100% convinced that he's the best one to do that. It's a risk for me, but I'm not saying he's not a good goalkeeper and he hasn't got potential. I just think Emmy owes us a season, because he was, by his own standards, wasn't completely on it last season. It's a World Cup year as well, right? So he's going to want to shine. And if you can end the season with going to the World Cup as a trophy winner for the Villa, I think it completes him as a player domestically as well, for him to then go on and play wherever he wants to play, mate. And he goes with blessings, what I say. And it's the same with Boubacar Kamara. You know, you've got to keep him down. Although I will say, watch the pre-season video of him coming back to training, and he didn't look full of the joys of spring. Now that might just be because you've just been made to go in the gym and fucking run your ass off for a fucking whole afternoon, right?
Yeah, you know.
But at the start in the morning, he looked like proper pissed off. You know, when I asked him, "Go, morning, Booba, welcome back," and he went, I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" He looks well pissed off. Like Ross Barkley looks like he's been on a bender for about 6 weeks, mate. He's always droop. I thought, Jesus Christ, Ross, are you on the coke again, mate? Come on,
His face is gonna melt off. His face is gonna melt off or something.
Honestly, he looked fucked, like he did.
Looks like Harry Redknapp on a good day. So it's just like,
he did, yeah. Mings looked like he's enjoyed Glastonbury and come back buzzing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know.
Was it you that showed me that video, by the way, of Tyrone Mings swapping shirts at Glastonbury?
Yeah, Glastonbury. Fucking brilliant, mate. Swapping his clothes for Villa shirts. Oh, outstanding. So, you know, Tielemans as well, that core, you know, and then John in the midfield. Those three for me in midfield, because you can rotate them, and John can play in numerous positions within midfield. I think we keep hold of that, and then we build around it. Like, get rid of Bailey, get rid of potentially JJ. I know that could happen. That's been linked, you know, maybe. But I don't know. I want that. I think JJ's still got he owes us a full season being fit, and you know. But it could be one, and we just need to see someone come in. I was hopeful that like this week that we'd hear something, but again, we go into another week, mate, and there's fuck all going on.
I did think this when you were saying it. I was like honestly. It's Chevalier, and you cook Chevalier. That's what you call it, like chandelier. I'm like, chandelier. Come on, Gary. It's like whenever you say chat GTP.
Yeah.
GPT, mate. GPT.
This is who I am. Anyway, this is what makes the outtakes. We can clip this, mate. I'll put it on TikTok. It'll be brilliant. So if anyone here is here that wasn't at the start, as you can see by the title up here. On Thursday, we are hopefully it's like been put in the calendar, but we just don't know. You know, he might not turn up. We will be speaking to Peter Withe, the infamous European 82 legend,
winning goal scorer. So if you do have any questions that you want us to ask him, because we are not a legit publication, so we don't mind saying stuff as long as it's clean. We will ask him those questions, hopefully, if we can. But yeah, look at that, man. He's got fantastic. I was looking at things. He had a fantastic face and hair, right? Didn't he? He had a fantastic little beard going on.
The guy was a dude, mate. 100%.
Yeah. I feel like I could have had a beer with him. Feels like he probably was having a beer at halftime. It just felt. 100%. I mean, it was those eras, right? It was that back in the day. Like they'd be having a fag at halftime.
One of the things I want to ask him, and I don't know if anyone's got, but is how would he compete in today's game? Do you think the 82 squad would beat the current Villa squad?
People have spoke about different eras and like teams and like, oh, is the Pele the greatest ever? All these kind of things. I'm just like, you can't compare. You cannot compare, because I think the game itself is just wildly different. The equipment wildly different. The type, the players themselves, the way they keep themselves, the way all this stuff is wildly different.
Yeah, because now today it's athleticism that kind of wins.
It's pace. It's the pace of strength that I think is.
I'm not saying, but if you were just to go on technical ability, right? Because look at
you give some of these players them boots and that leather ball back in the day. They wouldn't have a Scooby.
So they'd be there.
They'd have the ball and they'd go down. They go down with concussion injury.
Exactly. So if you got this 82 squad playing on these beautiful bowling green pitches with these footballs, like these guys have shown technical ability on mud baths, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes they used it though, right? Like that as part of their dark art was like, knowing where that divot was on the pitch where they could just flick it and it might like hit that, nip over the player's foot, or they've got like
if you've
do an elbow in, they know, all the little dark arts.
Mate, if you've played grassroots football and you play on the pitches that these guys played on professional way. It's just a mud bath, right? And you try controlling the ball when it's like they did that. Like, and even if that level of ability, like you just said there, to know the divots, to work the surface, right? You give them a bowling green pitch, mate. Like the likes of Peter Withe, Gordon Cowans, Gary Shaw, Tony Morley, right? You know, Des Mortimer, like just it'd be fascinating to, you know, come on, AI, if you're going to do something spectacular,
come on,
simulate that.
Well, someone's done it on Football Manager or FIFA, haven't they? They've done it back in the day. But like, I just don't. It's not really a question. I just don't. I think there's way too many factors. But you know, I think back then, and not, you know, I'm not saying they aren't men now. They were real men, whereas now it's just like half of them. You know, like, give it. You know, someone farts next to them, they're down and like holding their face. Like, ah!
Yeah, mate. Physicality back then would crush any team in the Premier League now. The first 10 minutes, people would just be stretchered off. Some of the tackles that flew in the 80s, mate, be like, cheery boy.
Speaking of people being like subbed or taken up, have you seen all the stuff with the Club World Cup? You see, like, was it Juve had to make 10 subs against? Was it against the Club World Cup? Yeah, really? It's just ridiculous. They had to make 10 because the heat. The heat is killing. I can't remember who it was. Was it Real Madrid or someone? They kept the players didn't sit on the bench. They stayed inside until.
Watch the first half. Yeah,
it was too hot.
Well, for me, mate, it's been I have watched. I've seen a few of the highlights, but the Club World Cup is a waste of time, mate. Even Chelsea boss was saying when he, like, you know, because they had delays with up to 2 hours for games because of the weather. It's the wrong time of year to have it. It's too hot or it's too rainy.
I totally get the moaning. Like, what sport do you have where there's no off season? They're basically playing through their summer here, so they're going to have, I think, 2 weeks. Like before, like that's it. It's just not. I mean, obviously, the same happens in the like with internationals, right? So when you got an international tournament, but I don't think it's as many games. Maybe I'm not 100% sure on the number of games, but yes, it's ridiculous.
The thing is, what we don't do in England is we don't have a winter break where most leagues around the world do. So it's not literally the Premier League players will just literally play through now. And I mean, it's going to be really sad to see if players end up getting injured start of the season because they've had no
Musiala
chance to. Oh, mate, did you see that? Oh, it's horrific.
But he's out for the season. He's basically out for the season for some stupid cup that no one cares about.
Yeah, mate. Like and a World Cup year as well. Like for Germany, like he's, you know, it's kind of what a pointless thing to happen. And devastated for him, mate, because he's a great player and Bayern are going to miss him. Like and it all for what? You know, like it's all for money, isn't it? That's all it is. The Club World Cup is literally a money spinner, and I'm sure they've made loads of money. And the winners are getting more than what they get in the Champions League, which is ridiculous. Right?
Well, I don't know if it's like if the winners get. I think it's basically if the games go for you, because I think it's based on like wins and stuff. So obviously, if you did it in the league phase of it, and now you win all your games in the knockout, then I think technically the winners will get potentially more than you would get from winning the Champions League, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, but the model of it is basically if everyone's earning loads of money, then we're going to get the best talent. But there's no consideration in terms of the players, what they've done just at a season. And
some of the players have played about 65 games this year.
Yeah. It's
65.
A lot, mate. Well, all you're doing is diluting the standard of football. That's all that's happening. Like it's because ultimately, I'm sure most of the teams are probably treating it as what it is. It's like a pre-season friendlies, mate. Okay, we'll use it as a pre-season. So you don't get them playing at the highest level. I've watched the highlights that I've seen in some of the games. It just looks like an exhibition tournament. It doesn't look like.
It's also the atmosphere isn't there because they're not the same in America, and like I said, the heat, and then so it's just a damn squid. It is literally just a money spinner, so it's completely pointless. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that pile of shit anymore. So I really don't want to talk about that. So we've got. I think we've got. Sorry. You're totally right. I did bring it up. So one last thing. I think I'm going to wrap it up anyway. We basically just want to do a quick update on our thoughts around John McGinn and just to announce this thing about Thursday. So again, if anyone is here that wasn't here earlier in the episode, as the title says up here, give us your questions for Peter Withe. We will hopefully be talking with him on Thursday at about 12 o'clock. So if you can get all your questions in before then we will do our best to try and speak to him. We'll be speaking to him, like we said, about some things that he wants to talk about. And we will be speaking to him, obviously, about, the 82 Cup final, various things that have happened. Like, I've got a lot of words, mate. We're going to speak to Peter Withe. I'm going to sit there and just be like, my internet's going to break, and I'm basically just going to be completely starstruck and like, Pete, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, Pete. I'm going to call you Pete. Is Pete okay?
Can I call you Pete? Yeah. It's Mr. Withe to you. Imagine if that's awkward like that. It's like, no, you can't. It's Mr. Withe.
No. Can you imagine? Can you call me Pete? No, it's Mr. Peter Withe. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you. You call me God.
He won us the European Cup. I'll call him whatever the fuck he wants me to. Like, So
the OnlyFans channel's on off again. Yeah. So
Anything, Pete, we've got another proposition for you.
Brilliant. Anyway, on that note.
One last thing, mate, as well. Don't forget, we've got the ball that you can still donate for Acorns. We're £180. The link is down there. Please donate £5 and you get a chance to win this, plus these magical prints that we've got signed by the man, the Withe, the legend. And this one is a limited edition one. This is my favourite one, the black and white one. And then you've got one from Brian Little, who's and that's signed, and that's obviously our League Cup winning manager. Followed by some lovely children's books that he wrote. These were available in the Villa store, but when they're going to throw it, they didn't promote them very well. So he's going to sign these as well. But they're really cool, and I think back a good collector's thing for any Villa fan. So yeah, please donate. All money goes to Acorns. Let's raise as much money as we can. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, call it a day there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And again, pop those questions in and we will try and we always reply to all the comments. We see all the banter that goes on, all the
we love it.
We love it, but at the same time, it does piss me off. Anyway, Gaz, you going to sing us out?
Absolutely, mate. I'm absolutely buzzing. Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue.
Cheers.
Peace. Love.